Hello and welcome to the Nerf Surf and Turf faraway view. That is to say, ladies and gentlemen, that we're viewing it from far away. So, basically, I want to talk about what has changed on the map. I did not cast yesterday. I'm probably going to go to an every other day format here, unless something huge happens. And I feel like the developments on the map lately are worth talking about from afar. So, without giving too much away about what's happening, and a lot is happening in terms of in terms of actual engagements and battles. But if we look at the New World, we will see that it's fairly stable. As per usual, we can see that Power of Us has been, looks like, ceded territories further south. That's good. It's important for them to have some balance over here, but I would say overall, the way things are going in the world, they need a strong Navy player. They have continued to keep Lefterios over here, part of their game, and so it does look like it's a coalition of essentially four over here: Bullet Hole, Orange Pit, Power of Us, and Lefterios. Lefterios being sort of a vassal state for those three up here. But the big news, as far as I can tell, is this. You can see evidence of this as you see that Italy has taken parts of Great Britain, specifically from Sweden, which means that the Western Central Powers are at war with the North. Yes, they are. Okay, now we kind of knew that, right? Because Finland was eating into France over here. So we've seen this already starting. We saw this war starting. So, of course, the Central Western powers are fighting back. Now, we may see a situation here where the North, eating into these territories, caused these territories to flee into the safe harbor of the only other large power in the region. Because what looks like what's happening, if I'm looking at the wars across the map, and by the way, anyone can look at the wars across the map and see who's at war with whom, it does look like we now have at least a fragile alliance between the Western Center and the Eastern Center. They appear to be working together. Now, I don't know if they're allies or if they're just working together, but they do appear to be working together against the North. This is a big development, and one that's somewhat surprising because I identified the dominant power to be the southeastern power over here. But you have to think about this. Who we have over here is a trio of Harkold, Smitty, and Grandma Karen, formerly General Penis, and a trio down here of Sweet Salt, Oli, and the Arabian Sausages, who has been formally admitted into their team of three. They now have one of each specialist in that arrangement. So you have two coalitions over here. We know that there's room for a gold, a silver, and a bronze in this game for a second and third place. Nothing else. So it looks like perhaps this coalition, it's really a double coalition at this point. It's a coalition and a vassal coalition, has apparently sort of bonded themselves to this coalition over here with the idea that perhaps this coalition in the East will get first place, probably the Western Central will get second, and then this coalition down here will get third. And if that happens, I will say, wow, scrappy Southern coalition down here, Sweet Salt, Oli, and Sausages. By the way, Sausages, Arabian Sausages, started off with one player that just left the game in the worst possible way, and then another player who left the game in the second worst possible way, neither of which helped their ally as they left the game at all. So poor Sausages down here has had a rough time of it, and he's still in the game and could potentially place third. Like, look, I can't zoom in. He has one guy. He has one troop. And he could be third place in the game. I love it. I love it. I'm going to just tell you. Um, so it does look like we have some strategic play going on here. That's bad news for the North. I will say, I I don't know if the North baited. We saw this conquering down into France. Was that a strategic mistake? Potentially, maybe yes. If you bait this group into sort of joining with your enemy over here, that could be a long-term strategic mistake. So we'll see moving forward. I don't know what other options the North had, though. Can the North directly attack this behemoth in the South? I don't really think so. What were they doing in terms of reaching out and trying to play diplomatic channels? I don't know. There's a lot of personalities in this game, so we do have Hertz, who's a longtime player with us, Papa Smitty, Harkold. We've got players who have been with us for a while. Oli here has been here for a while, and so sometimes diplomatic channels break down, and so I don't know what happened here, but I will say, if I'm this it's actually essentially a double coalition. We talked about this idea of mega coalitions happening late in the game. This group of 6 down here, and we can really call it a group of 5 because God bless you sausages, but you're over there. But you are a strategic player because you're still in the game. God bless you. But this group of 5 here could ally themselves with the slightly, I'm not even going to say a lot less powerful Northern Coalition. And really, that would have been enough probably to overwhelm the Southeastern Coalition. But what would happen then? What would happen is that the Northern Coalition would be first place, and the Central Western would be second place, and the Southern Western would be third place. Or you could align yourself in the same manner with this slightly more powerful Southeastern Coalition, and what would happen? The Central Western Coalition would be second, and the same exact outcome. So in terms of strategic play, this group here in the center west here is looking at, do we ally ourselves with the North or with the center east? And I get their reasoning. If that's what their reasoning was, do you go with the slight underdog and fight sort of a somewhat uphill battle? Or do you go with the slight, OP coalition and fight a more predictably confident game moving forward? So that might be part of their thinking. Again, I don't know who the aggressor was here. Maybe people can set me straight in the comments. Hayes man, playing Finland here. Who aggressed who? Did Finland attack France and start taking territory? In which case, that might be a bit of an overreach. I don't know. Causing this coalition to then reach out and team up with the East. I don't know. But what I do know is this. Observe that Italy has captured part of Ireland over here, which means that this core group of 6, really 5, who has allied themselves with this core group of 3 in the East, is at war with the New World. So we have a polarization that has finally occurred. And every game is going to come down to it, you feel like, eventually. You're going to have these alliances of coalitions. But eventually it's going to come down to black versus white, red versus blue, right? Us versus them. It's going to become polarized, and it has finally become polarized in this game. So we can confidently say looking forward, as we've seen just the sheer number of countries that people are at war with. Let's just take, for example, Finland. Finland is right in the middle of the mix here. Finland, who are you at war with? Everyone. So Finland, in the middle of the mix here, is at war with all of the East and all of the center west and all of the south. So, kind of being in the middle there has its disadvantages, but all of them are at war with, to some extent or another, with a lot of other players. So we now have the New World and the North versus basically all of Southern Europe and all of Africa. So we have a battle on our hands now. The lines are drawn. We know exactly where everyone stands, at least for now, right? At least for now. And we'll see what happens moving forward. Now, my plan is to go ahead and cast every other day. Part of the reason is I just traded jobs. I just went to it's the same job, but it's a different location. So I went from Independence, Missouri to North Kansas City, Missouri. And so it's a new office and a lot more work. And but I think in the long run, it's actually going to be less work because it's a more remote location. So I may be able to devote more long term to this project. But, when I say this project, I mean the entire YouTube channel in general. I've got a lot of ideas moving forward. But anyway, for the time being, I'm kind of pressed. So I'm going to do an every other day sort of situation unless we have just huge things that can't be ignored. I do encourage anybody in this game, reach out to me on Discord if you feel like something huge is happening that you really want to be covered that night. I can go ahead and accommodate that. I really can. I'm trying to be as attentive to this as I can. But I will tell you, I am now part of a nail biter of a tournament game right now. So, our alliance, the Supremacy 1914 Alliance, is in a tournament right now. We have two alliances, actually, that are in that tournament. We have the Alt Alliance and we have the Universe Alliance. And the Alt Alliance, I think they are losing or did lose their game. We were winning, but we're having a crisis right now where it looks like Austria is being attacked from the sea. And so nothing is ever, etched in stone. But anyway, a lot of my attention is being taken by that because tournament play, alliance play in general, but tournament play is intense. Oh my goodness, it's very intense. You have to be very focused. So anyway, every other day is my goal for these. I'll probably start releasing the detailed maps quicker because I've got a backlog of those. But then the sort of what we're seeing here from afar will probably come every other day. So, all right, that's just to let you know what's up, guys, moving forward. Horse Force is coming soon. As this game is beginning to resolve, it has now become polarized, as typically will happen towards the end of the game. You will get into two camps eventually that will resolve one way or another. We will have, I would say this, once this game is runaway and we can pretty much figure out who's going to win it, then I'll go ahead and start to open up Horse Force. We'll do a promotional video. We'll start to drum up some participation, probably have a sign-up sheet for it, just so we have an idea of how many people are coming. Just to let you know, it's going to be a 100 map. I don't want to do a 500. That's too many. But 100 map, we're going to try to spam as many people into that game as we can and only build cavalry. There's not going to be any coalitions. No coalitions will be opened up, but we will all agree at the very beginning of the game, if it's another Horse Force player, we will help each other. Okay. Now, there's going to be something in the way, we've got to have something about the way we name ourselves that is horse related so that we can identify each other. Because if we have 30, 40 players in this map, then you might be up against another Horse Force player and you don't even know it. So I want to figure out a way that we can do it right. I would say maybe early on, just start identifying players and sharing map with each other, because we're going to be fully cooperative, fully working together, but no coalitions. We're not going to be official at all. Like, my goal would be like, for you, you're just a regular player. You're just playing the game. You're just an innocent nerd. You're just playing this game. And then all of a sudden, like, all these countries around you are building horses. And then all of a sudden they just come stampeding across your border and destroy you, and you don't even know why. And you have to archive the game and move on to another one, and you just never even know why. It's just that one day that you were playing the game and a bunch of horses ruined your day. That's the goal. So we'll talk more about that coming later. That's next. But this game has not resolved itself. It hasn't. It just hasn't. And I don't even know if these alliances are stable yet. These multi-coalition alliances, I don't even know if they're stable for the rest of the game. So we'll see what happens moving forward. This is an exciting game. It remains an exciting game 4 weeks in. So thanks for checking in, guys. Thanks for showing up. I'll see y'all next time. Adios, ami amigos.